Previews give you the ability to take a look at your work in progress, to see if the colors are correct, to see if the footage makes sense, and to also see if your special effects are working or not. And there's several different ways you can preview your footage inside of your comps. So I'm going to just grab an image here. Let's drag it here. And as you can see, when you drag something to this little button here, it will create a brand new comp to the size of the image itself. Now, if I scrub the timeline, you see I have no animation on this still image, but still images are still given time on the timeline. So let's say I want to preview this footage. There's a couple of ways I could do it. I could go to Composition, Preview, and I could choose to do a RAM preview, which I'll talk about in a second, or I can choose to have my audio off or on if I had audio in this footage. I can also choose these guys as well, audio preview from here forward or the work area that I specified. So let's go ahead and talk about the other way. I can hit the space bar on my keyboard and you'll notice that the current time indicator is moving along the timeline. So once again, if I had motion here, you would see some animation playing back. We also have something called a RAM preview. And a RAM preview is simply when your computer uses the RAM in your system to play back the video and the audio at real time, or as close to real time as humanly possible based on the speed of your computer. So when you hit the space bar, After Effects is going to render the footage, but the RAM preview, which you can access by going to Composition, Preview, RAM Preview, or hitting, as you can see here, the 0 or on your numeric keyboard, will give you a real-time preview as long as your RAM holds up. So the more RAM you have, the longer the RAM preview. And in this version of After Effects CS5, you'll get a longer RAM preview than you ever did before. So if you don't see the ability to work with your timeline and your tools, just go to the Window menu and then you'll be able to find your playback controls if you need them. Okay, so that is how we can see our work. But there's still another way of doing this. When you create a RAM preview, you can also go to Composition and you can choose to save that RAM preview. So it'll give you a QuickTime movie or an AVI file that you can watch on your desktop at any time. So I'm going to go to my preview guy here and I'm going to go ahead and maximize this frame so we can see this control. This is the button right here that gives you the ability to have a RAM preview in this little preview control panel. So if you want to hit this button, this is the same as hitting your space bar, but this is the one that starts the RAM preview off. You also have the ability to go to the RAM preview options here. You can go to the first frame of your footage. You can also go to any previous frames, play the entire thing, go to the next frame, and jump to the last frame of your animation. You also have a toggle here that will mute the audio when you click it, and it turns the audio off. Click it again and it comes back on. And this button allows you to change your looping options. As you can see, it says play once, loop, or ping pong. Now play once is pretty obvious. It'll play your footage all the way across like so. Then if you loop it, it's going to play it, go back to the beginning, and play it again. Ping pong will literally go like this. It'll play to the end, and then it'll play backwards, and it'll play like this. And that's really good when you want to really study the footage. So those are the methods available to you whenever you want to preview your footage.